In a small encampment outside Bulgar village, a group of bandits wait off in the woods, and a sort of collection of men and women waiting around the campsite. Their routine is normal until they hear footsteps and a gruff man running excitedly to their boss. "Boss, I think I found her. The merchant's market not too far from here said they saw a girl in Sakane guards with a boy headed to Bulgar." Their boss, a gruff man with a scar on his chin named Zugo, turned to the man reporting this news with a thoughtful expression.
"Bulgar, huh? We don't have enough force to mount an attack on the village."
"We could ambush them when they leave Bulgar."
"Or kidnap the boy she's with in the village, blackmailing her into coming outside."
"No, we'll go with the first plan. The second they leave Bulgar, we'll surround them in the fields. There's only 2 of them and much more of us. They don't stand a chance."
The bandits all turned to the clear patch in the woods to see Bulgar out in the distance.
"That bounty's as good as ours."
Outside of the village of Bulgar, where small markets are set up, a woman behind a stall of flowers approaches 2 men on horses.
"May I interest you 2 gentlemen in some flowers? A single flower for a gold and a small batch for 5.
"I'm sorry, ma'am, but we are in a hurry and we cannot—"
One of the knights on horseback reaches down and gives her 3 pieces of gold.
"With a face as lovely as yours, I will pay you 3 pieces of gold for a single flower."
The flower vendor is overjoyed at the offer and hands him the flower.
"May I interest you in a small batch of lilacs?"
"I'm so sorry, my lady, but as my friend has said..."
The 2 knights, Sain and Kent, stare up at the village of Bulgar.
"We are in a dreadful hurry."
In the busy, bustling village of Bulgar, Lyn and Nick had stopped by of a clothing shop to change out Nick's clothes for the upcoming journey. Lyn stands there with her hand in her chin, observing Nick's new attire.
"I really think that those clothes suit you, Nick."
Nick Skye, now in a set of traveler's garments, is also admiring his own appearance.
"You think so?"
"Yes. Your previous clothes would be appropriate for the hot summer, Nick. But if we intend to travel closer to the mountains, you will need something warmer."
Nick looks over to Lyn with a grin.
"So, am I any less weird now that I'm in more normal clothes?"
On the outside, yes. But it will take a lot more than just clothes to change the inside.
Lyn smirked as she turned around.
Yeah, all right, Hey!
I was only joking.
Oh, yeah, I knew that.
The 2 of them exited the shop and began their way through the busy streets of Bulgar, with intent of picking up supplies to last them for their journey into the mountains. Stopping by a fruit vendor, they check off their supplies.
Alright, your clothes situation is finished. We have blankets.
Yeah, dark green blankets, I might add, as if you didn't wear enough green.
Very funny. Nevertheless, we should also stock up on as much food as we can carry.
This journey into the mountains, how long do we intend to be there?
Until we reach Elia. I have a friend there who can tell me where the Taliver bandits are located.
Elia, that's the Pegasus Knights, right?
Yes. I have a friend who is about to finish her training. I am hoping she can introduce me to somebody who has seen the Taliver.
And you hope you can take them all on by yourself?
Not by myself. I have a tactician by my side, remember?
Huh? Oh, yeah, I suppose.
I wanted to thank you again for taking me with you.
No, really, it's no problem. You're good company.
As are you. Even if you are a little weird.
Hey.
Nick, there's something I'd like to ask you. Have you...
Oh, what is this?
Appearing out of nowhere and moving like a starving man to food, Sain rushes over to Lyn, knocking Nick over in the process.
Nick?
This flash of beauty that appears before me. Hair as green as
okay.
the plains of Skye.
Lyn gently helps
Eyes
Nick
as
up
blue
before
as
the
the
two of them
sky
are pulled
above.
aside by the
Allow me
irate
to
store
give you
owner.
a token of your beauty. Hey, where did you go?
Sain looked around for his fair maiden, and found her cleaning off the fruit pulp from Nick's traveler's garbs, and the store owner complained to them about the ruined produce. I am not going to get another shipment for several weeks! How am I going to replace this lost product?
I assure you, it was not our fault. My friend was knocked into your cart.
It's your friend covered in my product!
Which, if I might add, is either, oranges or apricots. I mean, honestly, I can't tell which.
My fair lady.
Oblivious to the topic of the conversation, Sain rushes over to the three of them. You! Did you cause this?
I might have bumped into the young man there, but...
You ruined my produce! What are you gonna do about it?
If you will allow me.
The fifth man to enter this debate is Kent, who holds up a large bag of gold to the store owner.
Please, allow me to repay for the damage my friend has unintentionally caused.
The store owner reluctantly accepts the bag of gold, and goes off to handle the mess at the stands. Lyn turns to Kent with a begrudging respect.
At least one of you has a sense of honor.
My deepest apologies for my friend here.
Kent nudges Sain in the arm, and the Green Knight nods his head.
Yes, I truly am sorry.
Well, his clothes don't seem to be badly ruined, so I will accept your apology.
Yeah, me too. Except now I smell all orangey, apricot-y, whatever this is.
If that will be all, we'll be on our way.
Again, my...
Kent stops midway as he looks at her face.
Do I know you?
Huh?
Sain looks between the two of them and suddenly becomes infuriated.
Huh? Hey, no fair, Kent.
Lyn's expression turns furious as Kent's eyes widen.
No, wait, it's not what my friend is...
It's exactly what it looks like. There truly are no honorable Lycian men. Let's go, Nick.
Lyn grabs Nick's arm and drags him off, leaving the two knights by themselves in the market. Once they were by themselves, Kent furiously rounds on Sain.
Sain, you lout!
I should be saying the same thing. Sweeping in while I'm on the ground. I never knew you had it in you.
I wasn't trying to flirt with her. Are you telling me you looked straight at her face and didn't recognize her?
Of course I stared at her face. How else am I supposed to... Wait. She's...
Let's hurry. If we move quick enough, we can catch them before they are too far gone.
On the plains of Bulgar, Nick and Lyn are making their way through the path away from the village. Lyn seems to be fuming, and her walks are more like angry stomps, while Nick seems to be trying to engage her in conversation.
So, these travel clothes feel nice. Thank you for helping me purchase them. We should be able to climb the mountains of Ilio with ease now. I assume that once we reach Ilio, we'll restock there. I mean, unless, of course, we happen upon, like, a traveling salesman on the path through the mountains, which is I suppose it's weird, but you never know. I also decided to strip naked, let myself on fire, and sing Kumbaya.
After continuous silence, Nick increases his footsteps and puts his hand on Lyn's shoulder.
Lyn!
What?
You haven't been listening to a word I'm saying.
Huh? Oh, sorry, Nick, I was just... Those nights from earlier, I can't believe some people. I have not met a single knight of Lycia with a sense of dignity.
How many Lycian Knights have you met?
I've met enough.
Well, I'm not sure we know the full story. The knight in red, Kent, I think was his name, he didn't seem to be the flirty type.
I suppose you're right.
And you know the knight in green may have been flirting, and may have knocked me over, but I don't think he was a bad person. He wouldn't even bother to apologize if he was.
I suppose you're right, too. They were the more decent of the Lycian Knights I have met. I probably should not have been so snippy with them.
Yeah, probably. Well, it's over and done, right? Let's move on.
Yes. Oh, and Nick, I would prefer you to not set yourself on fire. Naked or not, it would not look nice.
Nick's jaw drops as Lyn gives a mischievous giggle.
Wait, you were? But hell.
The two of them don't seem to realize that from a distance, in the small concealed patches of the forest, that there were predator-like eyes watching them. From their spot in the concealed forest, an arm races up, remains high in the air, then swishes down like a signal. The second that happens, the woods that surround Nick and Lyn suddenly burst out with bandits, weapons held high in the air, battle calls as loud as thunder, announcing their presence like a herd of stampeding buffalo. Nick and Lyn whirl around as the bandits rush in and begin to surround them. Lyn draws her blade, grabbing the scruff of Nick's clothes and pulling him close to her.
Stay close!
The bandits form a ring around them, weapons drawn, but they do not enclose. They simply maintain their distance from them. Lyn darts her eyes from side to side, trying to find a break in their human-like cage.
This be just too easy. This job's almost a bit too good to be true. Then again, I don't know. How much difficult could one woman be, right?
The guys laughed while the few female bandits gave Zugo a glare.
Well, anyway, it's a shame though someone so pretty has to die. The amount of gold on your head is just too good to pass up on.
A bounty?
Why do you sound so surprised? For bandits, honor remains until the price of gold goes up.
No truer word than those. While we'll be sitting by a roaring hot fire celebrating, your body will be worm food and your head will be delivered for our proof of payment. You can die with your honor, Lindus.
Lyn visibly freezes at that name. Her eyes widen and her grip on her sword slackens slightly.
How do you know that name?
Zugo moves out of the ring of bandits, and once he does, they begin to close in.
Lyn?
Before they could get any closer, two men on horseback suddenly ride in, one with a lance and the other with a sword. The knights from the village, Sain and Kent. Sain manages to jab one of the bandits as he rides through the circle. Kent slashes him across the chest, and the two of them form a protective circle around Lyn and Nick.
You two?
Looks like we arrived not a moment too soon.
Cowards! All of you!
What the hell are you doing here? Why hire us to do your job?
Kent and Sain exchanged glances before turning back to Zugo.
I'm afraid you have us mistaken for someone else.
Indeed. Throw down your weapons and leave now.
Yeah, and if I say no?
Kent points his blade at Zugo.
Then you will have to deal with us.
You know what? I think that's actually a good idea. Come on up, boys!
The two knights turn in surprise when more bandits reveal themselves from the woods. In their confusion, and Zugo's seemly triumph, Lyn reacts, suddenly stabbing her sword into a seemingly distracted bandit.
Nick, get on one of those horses!
Nick, with wide eyes, quickly ran over to Kent's horse and clambered on aboard, the Red Knight helping him aboard as Lyn gracefully leaped up on Sain's horse, settling right beside the Green Knight.
Ride, Lycian Knight!
Kent did not hesitate. Snapping the reins of his horse, he charged through the now weakened circle of bandits. Sain quickly followed suit, and the two horses galloped across the plains. The bandits tried to chase after her, but the horses had a clear head start, and soon they were leagues ahead of them. Zugo, fuming, stops his rung long enough to address his crew.
Listen to me, you lot. Nothing has changed. We will hunt them down. They can't ride for long, not with the sun setting. They'll have to stop while they're resting. We'll be upon them. There will be no rest. There will be no breaks. We will find them!
The sun sets by the time the group stops riding. They stop their horses near a small creek, by a patch of woods. Kent grimly surveys the setting sun.
It's getting dark. We may have put some distance between us and the bandits, but if we stop for the night, they will catch up to us. We need to keep moving.
Kent, the horses have been riding all day. I don't know if they can go all night as well.
Horses are resilient creatures. They can handle long journeys. You two can disappear into the night.
Yes, we can. Wait, you two?
Lyn quickly dismounts the horse.
Wait, We cannot leave you two to deal with the bandits alone.
He's right, Lyn. You can't take them all on by yourself.
What do you expect me to do? Keep running? I can't run from them forever. I have to deal with them.
Kent and Sain also dismount their horses, with Nick trying to follow as well. The two knights move quickly in front of Lyn.
Milady, please. We cannot allow you to go into a battle you cannot win.
Kent is right. Please, be reasonable.
Who are you two? Why did you follow us, and why do you care so much?
Milady.
Do not call me that.
But that is who you are, Milady Lindis.
Lyn stopped her protesting, and she looked between the two of them.
How did you know my name?
If you listen to us, we will tell you everything. About why we followed you and who you really are.
Lyn turned her head to Nick, who looked at the two knights and shrugged.
I can't see the harm.
With the promise of answers, Lyn and Nick hang around the two knights for a little while longer. The four of them sit by a small stream, the two knights across from Lyn and Nick, both ready to tell their long story.
We have traveled a long way, from the kingdom of Kalen, in search of our Lord Housen's, the Marquise of Kalen, one and only granddaughter.
A long time ago, his daughter, Lady Madeline, fell in love with a traveling nomad from the Skye plains. They fell in love, but her father would not accept their union. The two of them eloped and fled to the Skye plains.
Madeline.
Lord Housen became very bitter for a long time, refusing to speak of his daughter to anyone. That is, until early this year, he finally received his first letter from his daughter. The letter was said that she and her husband have been living in the Skye plains, and have had a daughter.
I will never forget that day. Lord Housen never looked younger. He was so joyful to learn that he had a granddaughter. His anger and bitterness washed away. He told us that she had named their daughter after her mother, Lord Housen's wife, and was thrilled to learn he had a granddaughter of 18 years, alive in the Skyean plains.
The name of his granddaughter is Lindis.
Lyn swallowed hard. Her eyes slightly widen as she looks between the two knights, as if she was in disbelief of what she heard.
Once Lord Housen learned of this news, he expressed his deepest wish to see his daughter's family. He sent myself and Sain to the plains of Skye to find her. It wasn't until we heard from a band of traveling merchants that the Lorca tribe was killed. According to them, it was shortly after they sent this letter.
Kent reached into his pouch and pulled out a yellow, faded letter. He handed it to Lyn, who took it a little bit too quickly. Her eyes pored over the letters with some form of desperation.
This is my mother's writing. I could never forget this.
We were to give up and return home, but all was not lost. We also learned that the chieftain's daughter had survived the attack and was living by herself on the plains.
But this means...
You are Lord Housen's granddaughter, Lindis, the Princess of Kalen.
No, you have the wrong Lindis. I am not a princess.
Forgive me, milady, but the moment I saw you, I knew you were the one we were searching for. You have a strong resemblance to your mother.
You knew my mother?
No, I have never met her, but I have seen her portrait in the castle. The resemblance between you two is too striking to dismiss. You are Lady Lindis.
Lyn was completely frozen where she sat. She lowered her head, as if she was trying to process everything that had been told to her.
Lyn?
Everyone in the tribe called me Lyn. But when it was just my parents, they would call me Lindis. I never thought I would hear that name again. Lindis.
Lyn lifted her head up suddenly, as if in surprise.
That bandit. He called me Lindis too.
He what?
Yeah, she's right. I remember. He called her Lindis.
Sain and Kent exchanged glances. The Green Knight's eyes narrowed.
Kent?
Hold on, Sain. We don't know if...
But it must be. It must be him. He's been after the throne for as long as I can remember, Kent. Now he has sent bandits to remove the only person standing between him and the throne.
Sain, we have no proof of this.
What more proof do you need, Kent? How could some bandit happen upon the name Lindis? You heard it from her lips. Her people knew her only as Lyn. It must be him. It must be Lord Lundgren.
Lundgren?
Lord Hausen's brother. He is the great-uncle of Lady Lindis.
He's been seeking the throne all for himself. When Lady Madeline left, there was no other heir to the throne. But now that Lord Lundgren is aware of your existence, he won't rest until she is dead.
And you think this Lord Lundgren sent these bandits?
Guesswork and rumors are not grounds of treason. If we are to approach Lord Hausen claiming his own brother plans to usurp him, we need proof.
The dark predicament hangs around the four of them like a dark cloud ready to burst forth with rain.
What about the bandits? If we can get one of them to name the man who hired him, if it's Lundgren, then we've got the proof we need.
That will be flimsy at best.
It will have to do. If he is my grandfather and he is truly serious about welcoming me into his home, he will listen to me.
So, you will come with us to Kalen?
I don't see what choice I have. Lundgren is persistent on my life. He will pursue me until he is stopped. My grandfather, I want to meet this man. But me? A princess? I just don't know.
Look, guys, we'll have to sort this out later.
Nick pointed to the setting sun.
The sun is going down. We've been sitting here for quite some time, and the bandits are still getting closer.
If we try to start a fire, we will give ourselves away. But we can't possibly fight our enemies in the dark.
Even if we had light, we'll be lucky to walk out of this fight without major injury. If we had the element of surprise, maybe.
Nick's attention is pulled away by one of the horses giving a small neigh. His eyes fall upon Lyn's satchel that she rested on the side of the horse, the dark green blanket spilling out of the pouch. He stared at the pouch for a moment, then turned back to the group.
Actually, we might be able to take them out tonight.
How? I'm sorry, who are you again?
He's my tactician. His name is Nick Skye.
Nick Skye? You have 2 names?
Look, it's a custom of my people, but that doesn't matter. We've been sitting here thinking that the darkness would be our disadvantage, but it's actually the best advantage we have.
The three of them exchanged puzzled looks. But at their current situation, they had no choice but to trust their tactician. By the time night fell, the spot where the four of them had sat now had a bright, roaring fire. The packs were all around the place. It looked like they had been resting there for a while. In the small patch of woods next to the campsite, the bandits slowly creep out. Those idiots actually stopped to make camp? This is too easy.
Stay sharp, they could be anywhere.
The bandits slowly began to creep out of the woods. The one bandit that spoke earlier was starting to move when someone grabbed him from behind and pulled him into the shadows. And it wasn't just him. Other bandits that were trailing behind were suddenly pulled into the shadows, the rest of them completely unaware that their group of 9 was dwindling. By the time all bandits stepped into the campsite, 9 became 4.
Hey, wait a minute. Where's everyone else?
Where are they? They couldn't have just vanished.
Hey, guys, come on. Hurry up. Do you think they have some sort of magic item? Or maybe they're just giving us the slip?
No magic involved, and we haven't left at all.
The bandits turned to the woods to see Nick step out. A dark green blanket wrapped around him as he grinned.
Just some really dark green blankets. Now!
Just then, Kent, Sain, and Lyn all burst out of the woods, the dark green blankets they used to conceal themselves slipping off their shoulders as they charged out. The 3 of them quickly killed 3 of the unsuspecting bandits, leaving Zugo surrounded and on his own.
You tricked us!
Well, you were trying to kill us!
That's supposed to be an easy job. You're supposed to kill some wretched girl, get our money, and live our lives comfortably. You killed everyone!
What the hell are you going on about? You must have known the risks about this job. Why do you care anyway? You're bandits. You kill people for the hell of it.
What do I care? You think just because we're bandits we don't care about our own? You stinking pile of filth! I'll get you!
Zugo brandished his axe and charged for Nick, who began to back away in fear, right before Lyn rushed up and thrust her blade through his chest.
The man who hired you. The man who sent you to your death. Give us his name. You are dying. You owe this man no allegiance. Tell us his name, and know that through your actions you will be avenged.
We never saw his face. Just his messenger. He told us to say his name, though. They say we were hired by Lord Lundgren.
With a dying gasp, Zugo passes on. Lyn gently lies his body down and shuts his eyes. A moment of silence falls on the party for a while. Nick is a little disturbed once again at seeing death. Kent and Sain went off to secure the area, leaving Lyn and Nick alone.
I can't believe I said those things.
What? Nick, they're bandits. This is what they do.
Yeah, but it's not that. The world isn't as black and white as that. I always believed there are reasons for why people do these things. I always believed in knowing that there are reasons for what they do. Yet, when it came down to it, those words I said, I really meant them.
Lyn has no words, no measure of comfort to add to this realization. Perhaps it was because her hatred for the bandits has clouded her judgment. Soon, dark night sky turned into early sunrise as the four of them stood around makeshift graves, a respected silence for those they had to kill. Lyn walks over to Nick, who is gathering his things.
Nick, things have changed a lot since we started. With everything that happened. Do you still want to travel with us?
Nick did not respond. He merely allowed her to continue.
There will be more bandits hunting us down. Our journey will be one far more dangerous than we originally thought. You seem pretty shaken up from last night. So, I will understand if you want to leave.
Lyn mistook Nick's silence for listening, for the tactician was already lost in his thoughts.
Leave? Like hell I'll leave. If I leave, I'm dead. I have no idea who sent me here or why. I let Lyn travel with me because I felt safe with my knowledge of where the story would go. Yes, the violence and the realizations about myself do frighten me, but being alone in this world frightens me a hell of a lot more. I have to stay by Lyn, at least with her, until I know what happens next. Until I can get back home.
Thank you for your concern, Lyn, but I'm fine. If you'll allow me, I want to come with you to Kalen.
So, you are coming with us?
Kent and Sain walked up to the both of them.
Last night you told us you would come with us back to Kalen. Do you still intend to?
I do.
But...
I just can't see myself as a princess. I wouldn't even know what to do or what is expected of me.
Milady, once we have tried Lundgren for treason, you could always abdicate. If you truly wish to not remain on the throne, you can abdicate your position, as Lady Madeline did.
Yes, I suppose I could.
As Lyn mused on this thought, Sain leaned over to Kent.
Kent, are you mad? Why would you suggest such a thing?
If it makes her feel at ease, then she will be comfortable with us. Perhaps once we get to Kalen, she spends time there, she will change her mind on abdication. However, until then we have a duty to her well-being and happiness.
Sain reluctantly nodded, turning their attentions back to her.
If it is your desire, then we shall not object to it. However, until the decision is officially made, we must treat you as you are, the Princess of Kalen.
The two knights kneel, weapons at their sides. Lyn blushes red as they bow in their loyalty.
Whatever your wish may be, we will grant it.
Whatever foe intends to do you harm, we will prevent it.
High or low.
Through rain or snow. This is
the oath of the Knights of Kalen.
Lyn blushed profusely during this pomp and circumstance. Even as Sain and Kent gave their pledge, Nick could only feel guilt. Guilt of what he said, and of his motivations. Nick wasn't a hero. He wasn't even a tactician. He was just some guy. An ordinary guy, like everyone else. And he was scared. Scared of death. Scared of being alone. Fear was his motivator. Somehow, some way, he would get back home. He took a breath, surveyed his situation, and let that breath out.
And so we go.
to the